Hi, my name is Zabia and I'm the UNSW President for AIM. I'm here at UCID campus. We're going to be mentor training with approximately 20 people, and I'm really excited and I'm super keen of meeting new people and just teaching them about the AIM ways and for them to come on board and see what we're all about as well. So, do you want to come in? Are you here for AIM training? Yeah, just over here. Choose a spot and you can sit wherever.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know me already, my name's Janice and I'll be leading the mentor training today. So before we start, I'll just do the acknowledgement of country. So we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land and pay our respect to the elders past, present and emerging. In UCID, that's the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, for they hold the traditions and culture of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples across the nation. We really want to foster creativity within children and use different ways to help them. Well, I think later on I'll go more into details of what you do at schools, but one of the activities I will ask you to do is just maybe just introduce yourself to the person next to you and talk about what imagination means to you. Janice.
So what are you guys studying?
Imagination is creating something out of nothing. And how it relates to this program, I would think, is we're devising new ways of connecting with individuals. We're coming up with ways on how to guide them through life, perhaps impart some of our wisdom, whatever that is, onto them to ensure that they have a happy and satisfactory journey through high school, which prepares them for the rest of their lives and careers. The reason why I wanted to join this program was because I wanted to challenge myself a bit, to put myself out there and see how much of an impact I could make on somebody else's life. I also tutor at the moment, so I think some of those skills I'd be able to use both in my tutoring as well as mentorship. Another reason is because I study law, and in one of the first semesters, the first thing that we learned was native title and how the appropriation of land led to the destruction of culture amidst other things. So I would really like to see that some of the past wrongs are fixed however we can, and I'd like to be a part of that. Thanks.
Okay, Christine, and that's Division Science, and I'd like to be a mentor because obviously I now do a course that I managed to get into and I worked hard for, but a lot of people, they don't really have the same opportunities, and if I could help out where I can, then I will. That's great.
My name's Anuki and I'm studying applied science. I wanted to become a mentor because my family, I feel like, have had a lot of personal experiences with Indigenous people, and that kind of thing has wanted me to get into kind of helping Indigenous people out in the best way that I can at my age.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Janice?
I'm Janice. I feel like I've said this before, but I do politics and international relations. And I want to be a mentor just to learn from Indigenous people. I feel like if I do want a job in policy, I can't make policy if I don't know a lot of the population in Australia. So yeah, and it's important to learn from kids who I don't have personal experience with. So yeah, it's fun.
I'm Jade. I'm a Bundjalung and Gundungurra woman. I'm studying a Bachelor of International Studies and Indigenous Studies. I was a mentee at AIM, a really bad one, but nonetheless a student of AIM.
So I'm Robbie Miller. So just a little bit about me. I only just moved to Sydney, so I don't know everything to know about the cultural sensitivities of Sydney or the Gadigal people, the Aboriginal people, or anything like that. But a little about me. So my family is from a place called Anungu Pinjar Yangatara, which is the centre of Australia. And my great-great-grandma, through stolen generation, was taken basically around the whole country to a place called Cherbourg. Now Cherbourg is a mission. Everyone knows what an Aboriginal mission is. I think Mount Druitt was one. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. But it's a place where they brought Aboriginal people from all different places and put them on basically government land. For a few reasons, I'm not too sure, to control them, to get them out of society, and also maybe train them in modern day society at the time. And I've also got family from a place called Saibai Island in the Torres Strait. Does anyone know where Torres Strait is? Okay, so if you go up the coastline of Queensland and you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going, you go past a place called Cairns, and then you keep going, and then you get to these bunch of islands called Torres Strait Islands. And these are little speckles of land which go all the way to about 1 kilometre off Papua New Guinea. And that last island is an island called Saibai Island, and that's where my great-grandma was from. And her family moved down to Cairns and Townsville to work on cane farms, which was a really big thing that happened in Australia. It's called blackbirding. Not so much for the Torres Strait Islanders, but it's where they brought South Sea Island people to Australia to work for free to help harvest cane.
Right now, all of you in this room are paving a really good stepping stone for closing the gap. UOW is on Dharawal land, of nations, which symbolises the diversity and the complexities of Indigenous Australia. And on the right we have the post-colonialisation of Australia, which eradicates the diversity, which eradicates all the languages, the kinship, the systems within, and just kind of puts it as 6 states and 2 territories. These are the terms which refer to mobs on Southeast Australia, New South Wales and Victoria and whatnot. I thought that was nice to put in. Even myself, I'm an Aboriginal woman, and I didn't even know about how important kinship was until 2 years ago when I nearly had an identity crisis.
Alright, so this is a map of Indigenous Australia. As you can see, there's 500 different language groups. So we'll just turn the lights down a little bit. So where we are is somewhere around here. Does that look about right? Yeah, okay, cool. So my family's from here and all the way up there. Now the thing you need to know about working with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander kids in high schools, they might be in Sydney. This is where they reside, this is where they go to school, but that doesn't mean that their family connection is from here. They could literally be from anywhere across this entire map.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have been subjugated on issues that involve them, on issues that directly affect their life. It affects our lives, and it is really important that when you are asking people about their experiences or what they would like to see out of the program, that you're active listening. This is their lives. In my school, I was the 7th Aboriginal person to graduate in 50 years. That's really bad. When referring to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, don't use it as ATSI in terminology, as that can kind of show that, again, we are in a position where we're being dehumanised. Okay, so highly offensive terms and questions for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. The words on the left were used during the assimilation policy to describe Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Don't say it. Only because it is offensive, and also it brings up a lot of underlying trauma. At least somewhere down the line we have had assimilation, we've had people who are part of the stolen generation. For me, it's my auntie, for me, it's my grandmother, and the entire way up. I only know up to my grandmother, so that's just indicative of how soon it actually was, and the fact it happened to my dad's sister. So that really isn't that long ago, and the rhetoric that it happened ages ago, you don't need to worry about it. My auntie's 55, so it's not that long ago in the scheme of things, and saying those words really bring up trauma and a lot of intergenerational trauma.
And when words from outside a cultural group are used to define a cultural group, it gets all kinds of ugly. But you don't ask an Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander person how much they are, because that's just not a thing. So, they're Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander, or they're not. And the best analogy I've ever heard is coffee, right? So if you have a coffee, black, if you add a little bit of milk, or more milk, doesn't matter the colour it is, it's still coffee. So that's the same kind of analogy you can apply to an Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander person. And you want to acknowledge traditional owners, it's the acknowledgement. You're just acknowledging the people that come before. Welcome to countries are reserved for your elders, your important people, your people of stature in that community.
Throughout the program, we have things like failure time, where you can show mentees that we can fail as well, and it's completely fine. And just getting out of your comfort zone, so trying new things. Trying new things throughout the program, and making sure that you constantly put yourself out there.
I don't care if you judge me. I've been judged my whole life. What do you think of me is none of my business.
What brought you here today? What's the story? What's the goss?
Oh man, there's some loaded questions. Just give me one. Choose one of those. Choose one. What's the goss? The goss.
Give it to me.
I don't like to goss. I don't.
All right,
like goss.
let's lose the sunnies then.
Goss
let's
is
get
bad,
real.
bro.
Come on, okay.
No, we don't want goss.
You're a dancer, and you dance because why?
Oh, that's a very, very good question. So I dance because it set me free. My happiness revolved around consuming as much substance as I possibly could. And fortunately, I got hit by a car and I couldn't walk for 8 months. I kicked all the stuff out of my life, and I had to find something that I was passionate about. And I'd always been passionate about dancing. Like, my most purest memory of joy is dancing in the living room among my dad and my sister. Away from anger, away from, judgment, away from bullies, which I hated and wanted to hurt severely. I was a very angry young man. And I got really filled up my heart with fire, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I couldn't not do it. I couldn't not wiggle and giggle. I couldn't not move and groove. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just had to do it. I became addicted, and I saw how much happiness it brought other people. Not just me. I was doing it for me, audience of one. Once I saw the impact I was having in people's lives, man, it's just like, why not? I don't care if you judge me. I've been judged my whole life. What you think of me is none of my business.
I think that's an interesting one, because the experience you must have had being a little bit different, especially over the last sort of 5 to 10 years with it, is exactly what you said. You're unlocking all of this energy from people who actually want to be colourful.
Well, here's the thing. I'm unlocking the energy within myself first and foremost, and it's just rippling into the lives of everyone around me.
Come, babe.
What was that experience like, dude? That must have been pretty unique.
That was heckers, man. Okay, so I'm in Byron Bay, right? I'm working 3-4 hour shifts a week, scraping through, bro. I want to be here, man. Look at this country, man. My manager at the time, I was only getting little dancing gigs here and there, whatever, it wasn't anything. He's like, you know, they want you on the show. And I was like, I don't want to go on the show. I don't want to be judged for something that's pulled me out of the grave and given me wings.
Absolutely.
And I'm not a choreographed dancer. I couldn't choreograph my way out of a wet paper bag. I'm not a trained dancer. I've never done a dance class in my life. I just like to let the music move me.
But you moved people, didn't you? Like that
Well,
night.
yeah,
and
man.
you
And
have
I
some
went on that
scenes.
stage, man. And like seeing the audience stand to their feet and the judges just loving it, like it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. For a flower to grow, seed has to fall to the ground. There's birth from destruction. You know what I mean? You drive down a road where there's been a bushfire and you look and there's black trees everywhere and you see the green just like shooting out of that blackness, and it's just like, wow, man. There's no rainbow without the rain, you know? And it's just like, when I was young and I got hit by that car, you know, I had a fist fight with my old man in intensive care, like life was getting bad, bro. And I'm looking all around me and it's a barren wasteland. But it was a barren wasteland in here. I created that barren wasteland. And once everything had got as worse as it could possibly get, that's when I had to go in here and start sweeping up all the ash and picking up all the broken buildings and start building a beautiful, happy town. I had to start doing the hard yards, bro.
What would you say to the kids who are scared about failing?
You'll never be the best in the world, but maybe people will call you the best in the world, but you'll know that you aren't. You know, you can't really claim that. But if you really enjoy it, regardless of your skill or your steez or your style, or your capacity to do something great, if you really enjoy it, regardless of what that is, just do it. Don't do it for him. Don't do it for me. Do it for you. Like, that's what I started doing. And this is where I'm at now. So that's my advice. That's Tommy Franklin advice 101. Just do it. Do it scared. Just do it.
Tommy, thanks for joining us on MTV.
Thank you.
You're the man,
so
brother.
Much love, bro.
Good on you.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Peace.
Bye. You did.
Is it okay to fail? Yes. Why? You do. Because when we fail, we learn. And when we learn, what happens to us? We grow. That's it. That's it. It's about doing things that sometimes are uncomfortable. Sometimes are just different to what we've ever done before. Sometimes they're hard. And sometimes they're just, sometimes even a little silly. Failure is not something that we should be afraid of, and be scared of. Failure is something we need to learn to embrace. If we can embrace failure in our life, failure will never have any power over us, will it?
I'd like to ask a quick question. What did you learn when you decided to come here today? More importantly, what did you learn about yourself? It's very easy hiding in a crowd, laughing at the others putting themselves out there. But what happens when you're shoved into the spotlight? When you're shoved into an unexpected environment? For me, AIM is a safe place where failure is considered an accomplishment, where all things embarrassing and shameful are forgotten. AIM is a place where your life goals are just a step away. In this university, in this room, in your very seats. This place is a safe haven where you have nothing to lose, where you have a million things to gain. Because at the end of the day, there's no shame in it.
The greatest teacher of all is a lesson of experience. Education teaches you the world around you, but experience teaches you who you are.
I don't know exactly the answer. I'll leave it on. I said the whole thing. Wait, no. I just said the whole thing. I didn't know. Also other rules just relating to like child protection and stuff. We want to have your working with children's check. It's also important to not try and contact mentees outside of the mentoring environment at schools just because they're minors, a lot of them. So we have some child safety stuff, so you need to have your working with children's check. We don't want you to contact mentees outside of schools, and there's a reporting incident kind of section. I don't know if all of you know how to use the trailhead thing, but once you log in, if you slide to the bottom, there's a trailhead page and you can report an incident. If a student has an incident, you probably report it to the school, but also if you have your own incident to report, you can do this online and some AIM staff can contact you.
Number 1, no shame at AIM. There is no shame in being you.
Rule number 2, no contact between mentors and mentees outside of the program. That includes your social media with your Twitsies and your Facies and all the insties and the whoopties. None of that. Rule number 3. Mentors and mentees cannot exchange gifts. We don't want them. Stop giving us socks and hankies.
Rule number 4. No one-on-one contact between mentees and mentors. If a mentee needs to leave the room, it must be in a group of 3. For example, 2 mentors and a mentee.
Rule number 5. No swearing. You can't say you can't say no, 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 and definitely no, go and take that chair and stick it up you giant piece. Rule number 6. No racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, or snail phobia. Everyone is equal here. Rule number 7. No physical contact between mentees and mentors. High fives are fine, if you're lucky enough to have hands.
Rule number 8. If you miss a session, you must explain why. Hey, there's probably a really good reason, but you must let them know.
Where were you? Where were you? Rule number 9. If a mentee misses 2 sessions in a row without explanation, they'll be asked to leave the program. You gotta follow through and respect the program and the people involved. Oh look, it's Rule 10. If a mentee misses 2 sessions in a row but still wants to be involved, the mentee must write a letter to their mentor explaining why they missed the sessions and why they want to come back.
Rule number 11. If a mentee discloses issues of abuse to a mentor, the mentor is required to report it to an AIM staff member. We take this very seriously. We will follow it up in a professional and a prompt manner.
Hey homies, rule number 12. AIM staff and mentors must wear the AIM uniform. This is to keep AIM looking professional, but also so we know who's who. Who's that guy? Rule number 13. Have fun. Like this.
The maximum is kind of an hour a week. It'll depend on the school that you go to. Some might be like once a fortnight, but yeah, it's usually an hour a week. During this hour, we split it up into the first 15 minutes are usually physical activity, so you just get the students outside of their normal classroom environment, just to make sure that they're a bit more relaxed. And then we do tutoring for around 40 minutes. This is helping them with it could be specific subject areas or even just like UAC, signing up for uni or maybe employment opportunities. And then we have failure time, which is a 15 to 20 minute activity where you just play a new kind of game with the students, something that you're probably not comfortable with as well, but just to show them that you can fail and have fun. It does depend on different schools, so you might not have the same structure depending on the school you go to. But usually the president with you will take you through it once you get there. This is just like an example.
So most tutor squads with our schools are run on a weekly basis, usually the same time and day. So for example, here we do it at 6:30 to 8 p.m. every Monday.
Every Monday we're like, yes, we got AIM. We're like, yes, let's go do some work. That's the only time you'll ever hear us say it, but we just love it and we look forward to it.
I think the most important thing about AIM tutor squads in particular is that human connection grounding to things. You'll have a lot of other tutor squads or mentoring programs that really focus on study and the educational section of it, and whilst that is really important here at AIM, it's getting to know your mentor and getting to build that connection with them that really helps out our students.
It inspires young kids. They see older people going to uni, and because they meet on that personal level, they're like, oh, because a lot of where I'm from, not many people go to uni. So when I first started the AIM program, I was like, uni's not just a really hard opportunity to get, it's right there and I can get it if I want it.
You get that one-on-one support with your schoolwork, assessments, and then also maybe you just want to sit there and say like, I'm really not having a good time with this teacher, or I'm too shy to put my hand up.
It's not purely just about studies, it's like they come in on a personal level, they help you, they'll talk about your day, they'll talk about their day, they play games, it's fun.
Do I have brown hair?
Yes!
So two of the really important things about AIM tutor squads are, one, opening yourself up. Kids are more likely to trust you and feel like they can share with you if you're willing to share a little bit of your story. And then secondly, showing up every single week. That kid knowing that you're going to be there again and again and again is absolutely pivotal in them being able to trust you and work well.
Knowing that AIM people are volunteers and they come because they genuinely want to, it just helps. If we ask from other people, we just feel as though like they have to do it, but the genuine support and help that we get, we appreciate it so much.
Be an intern. It's basically just doing more than mentors, so more of the behind the scenes work, so like having an intern for each school, just like contacting the teacher. We'd already established a relationship with the school, you just have to be like, well, we're coming at this time, and then organise the students. Yes. You don't mind doing that?
I see themselves there.
Yeah, you do. You do. We have hoodies at our house.
Yeah, we do have hoodies.
For interns, yeah. You also can write it on your resume.
And then we've got two here in Randwick, eastern suburbs. Marrickville, Alexandria, we go out to Dulwich Hill, Newtown High. We have a few kind of on that train line out this way. And then we're working with some of the ones up near Westmead and Strathfield, so we have a few schools up that way. Again, we've kind of got some schools out Western Sydney too, so we're working with Campsie, Castle Hill, Oak Hill College, those ones. And then we've got two schools down here too. When we've got Wollongong site, where are you guys covering?
So just bottom of your hand there is Sylvania, you see it there? Bottom, right, yeah, that's Sylvania High there. A bit more south, you've got Janelli, maybe a class days, but yeah, to the left, Janelli. And then just on the left, Liverpool, we've got three schools, one right now. Cecil Hills, Liverpool Girls, and Oxford Park.
But what I went to UC here, there's 5 or 6 in the inner west that we're working with. Some of them are single sex, some of them are co-ed, obviously private, Catholic and public as well. So there is a different variation of schools that you can be working with.
We want to try and work out where do dreams come from. So what do you think? Where do dreams come from?
From the dream time?
What are dreams?
Comes from your imagination.
What is that?
It's like a world of things that you think of.
What do you guys dream about?
Riding a unicorn and a turtle on its back.
A turtle on the back of the unicorn, or the turtle and the unicorn next to each other with you sort of one leg on each?
Next to each other, I'd say.
Next to each other.
Who's powering the movement?
A cheetah.
What do you dream about?
Being rich.
Echiloto Chichi.
I want to know, what's a dream?
A train is something that runs on the rails, and it takes people from Brooklyn to the Bronx, or from Queens to Brooklyn.
Who makes dreams?
Us. Your brain? I reckon dreams are clouds what like are in your head, and like they picture all the stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do actually.
I think I go to sleep and my bed takes me to this stuff.
Your bed takes you?
Yeah, it kind of flies and takes me to these places when I sometimes have dreams.
What is your dream? Do you have a dream?
I dreamed about dinosaurs. You can dream about like you're in a forest or a jungle. I have dreams when I'm a green guy who can turn into animals.
Who invented dreams?
Martin Luther King.
When do you reckon the first ever dream was ever had?
1981.
So since 1981, when the first dream was had, have all people since that moment been able to dream?
No.
Why do you think no?
Sometimes people need to see stuff and hear stuff to dream. Or some people don't because they can just stay up and don't go to sleep. Yeah, I reckon every kid has a dream. But sometimes you have a scary dream, like on Halloween you might have a scary dream. And those bad dreams are so, like scary. Sometimes you dream about when you are in a scary hotel where there's vampires and zombies and skeletons that are still alive.
How much do you think dreams cost to make?
$10.
$10?
That's a well-priced dream.
What do you think, Bob?
The amount that you have to pay the hospital to get yourself out of your mom's belly.
What is psychology?
Psychology. We don't know the word that we call psychology. And that word is confusing us. We don't know. Psychology. Psychology.
Why do you think we use imaginations? Why as human beings, why do we have an imagination?
You can go off into far places. I don't know. It's hard. Really hard.
Why is it hard?
It's just hard.
Well, that might be our time.